Have you ever wondered why students fail? Have you ever wondered why students don't have good grades? I want to show you 7 mistakes students make that prevents them from excelling academically. Every student who has ever failed an exam must have defaulted in at least one of these mistakes. Number 1, when you are obsessed about not wanting to fail an exam. So in my 200 level, my friend and I were preparing for a particular course. It was not our departmental course. And my friend had a roommate in final year who was writing the course. And she kept on telling us about how difficult the course was, how one of her colleagues then that was in final year when she was in 200 level was rewriting the course and may still rewrite the course that year. So she kept on telling us about how she didn't want to fail that course. And then, truth be told, on the day of exam, we saw her colleague that was writing the course again. And aside that, we saw a reg number of 1999. And here we are in 2014 then. And I was like, no, I would not join this pattern, because she's rewriting the course and there's a tendency for us to rewrite that course because of the constant obsession about not wanting to fail that exam. And I told myself that, see, that's their business. I will not be part of this. And I told myself that, see, I'm going to pass that course. If I had known then what I know now, I would have said, I want to excel in that course. I actually passed that course. I got a C in that course. So students make this particular mistake of being obsessed about not wanting to fail an exam. And I tell my students this, that a student of excellence always wants to ace every exam. Now, number 2, not keeping to a reading schedule. In my first 2 years in the university, I will always tell myself, see, Hannah, you need to commit to reading. You need to have a particular schedule and you need to keep to it. And then for the first 2 weeks, I'm following it, and then on the 3rd week, I stop. This is a mistake that a lot of students make. And because they do not keep to their reading schedule, they end up having poor grades. They end up having average grades. I tell my students, keeping to your study schedule pays off when you have an exam. Number 3, waiting until weeks to your exam before preparing to write that exam. So in 2012, I was preparing for, or should I say, I registered for a post-UME, and then I had already written JAM, and then I registered for post-UME in a particular school. And I don't know what happened, but it was just like 2 weeks to the exam. I now started preparing for the exam. I went for the exam, and it was an MCQ. But then I wouldn't say that I could confidently tell anyone that I answered a question correctly. I was in the exam hall and all the questions looked very strange to me. While I was still there trying to answer the questions students were submitting. Thank God, I would say that it was God's mercy that post-UME was cancelled. So I had to really prepare for the next post-UME exam. This is a mistake that a lot of students make. They would wait and keep on saying, it's 3 months, it is 2 months, it's 1 month the exam date, I still have time to read. And because you keep on waiting, you end up not covering the topics you're supposed to study for that exam. Number 4 is trying different study methods on days to your exam. This is a mistake a lot of students make. Like, you don't take coffee in the night, you decide to take a coffee and try to read all through the night because your exam is the next day. You put your leg inside a bucket of water and you're expecting that, okay, you will stay up all night, and you hope that you don't go blank in the exam hall. This is a mistake that a lot of students make. They try different study methods on days leading to their exam, hoping that, okay, one of them will click and then they would be able to excel in that particular course. As a student, you are supposed to know the study method that works for you and stick to it. If you know that reading during the day is okay for you, then stick to it. If you know that reading all through the night is okay for you, you stick to it. But you're someone, you know, you're not a night crawler, you are an early riser, then you decide to read all through the night, days or a night to your exam. This is a mistake that a lot of students make that makes them keep having poor grades and not excelling in their studies. Number five is waiting for a convenient time before you study. Last year I was speaking with a student, and I asked her, we were discussing, and then I asked her how far with her post-UTME, because she had told me that she had registered for her post-UTME, and then I asked her, how far with your post-UTME, and she told me, I'm working right now, and I've not found a particular convenient time where I can really read and prepare for the post-UTME. And then I'm wondering, then what do you expect? What do you expect? You want to pass the cutoff mark and you are not prepared for it. You've not started reading. You have a date for your post-UTME and you have not started reading for that post-UTME. This is a mistake that a lot of students make. They wait for when it is convenient for them before they start to read. I tell my students this thing. I tell them that don't wait until you're on a verge of losing a position before you start to do something to keep it. You need to read, whether you like it. Excellent students, that's what they do. Whether they're sad, whether they're happy, whether it's easy, whether it's hard, they read. They don't wait until it's convenient for them before they read. But this mistake that students make is that they do not take their studies as a priority. My first 2 years, my first 2 years in the university, I was encumbered, that would be the word, overwhelmed with a lot of activities. I go for this particular program, I go for this particular activity, I hold this particular position in school, I hold this particular, and then I'm finding it very difficult to focus on my studies. This is because I did not put my studies as my top priority, because that's the reason why I went to school. So this is what students make, the kind of mistake that students make. They try to put other activities on par with their studies, and because they keep on doing that, they find it difficult to focus on their studies. I tell my students this: if you start to see your study as a chore, it means that your attention is focused on something else. So whenever you start feeling like reading is a chore, it's difficult, it's stressful, it's like a duty, then just know that you have started focusing on something else. Number 7 is this: most students have a faulty mindset about academic excellence. They feel that excellence is just for a selected few, just some set of people are just too good, we're born excellent like that. This mindset has been the reason why a lot of students do not excel in their studies. No one was born with an intelligence, a wealth of intelligence embedded in them. Everyone was born blank. But then what happens is that it is the information that is stored in them that they apply that makes it look like they are more intelligent than the other person. So what do you do with the knowledge that you have. You need to stop having that mindset that there are some sets of people that are just naturally excellent. What happens is that those people have honed the skill of applying every knowledge, every information that comes to them. I tell my students this, that the average students and the excellent students have the same currency. Their results shows where their currency goes. And that currency is attention. So what do you do? Do you focus on your studies? Do you put attention to your studies? Do you take it that it's possible for you to excel in your studies? These are the 7 mistakes a lot of students make. And if you stop making the students, if every student stop making these mistakes, they would excel in their studies. See you in the next video.